are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm a relationship hack.
Run up and get touched up, suicide. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail. Run up and get touched up, suicide, that's it. And all of y'all know my style. I excel, then prevail.
The ZoWhat Morning Show back in the building. It's Monday. Hey, we got a heater of a topic for you today. Listen, you can't get the ZoWhat Morning Show on any network other than T Radio V. That's radio in TV. We're on live. If you go to tvradio.com or tradioV.com, you can see us live right now. That's tradioV.com. You can see us live right now. Or, if y'all following us right now on my Facebook page, I'm broadcasting live for the Facebookers. It's going to be crazy today. Listen, let me do this right now. Y'all hear them beats in the background. Let's hear some. Bobby said that ain't music. Bobby, don't be old on us. It's hip-hop. It's our time. Fall back. Hey, as is commonplace, you know what I like to do, and that's promote black businesses. This is the segment. I need you to go to We Juice. Y'all pull up the We Juice website. My brother We Juice. This brother comes here. He brings us juices every week. Look, he makes these turmeric shots for me. I asked for turmeric. That's real turmeric in there. You feel me? He also brings me little ginger shots. This is all healthy, good shit. Y'all go support WeJuice.com. Get there right now. Also, let me do this real quick. Pull up the Indiegogo page for Zoe Williams' new book, The Holographic Relationship. Pull up the Indiegogo page. We had a pretty active week. Last week we were at 1,500. Today we are at 4,365. Let me shout out some people real quick. Alvin Delk. Hey, turn the beats down just a taste. Let me shout out Alvin Delk. 11 minutes ago, he donated $50. A brother, this is a sister. Her name is Sarah. 12 hours ago, donated $100. We're doing a telethon today. We've got to get past this 5% mark. Listen, we only got 4 or 5 weeks left, and we're nowhere near our benchmark. We need that benchmark so we can produce the most incredible relationship book ever written. I'm trying to do the Thriller album of relationship books. That's what I'm trying to do right now. You feel me? All 10 chapters got to be human nature, beat it, Billie Jean, PYT. I'm trying to change your life from the inside out. I'm telling you, this is the book. I need your help. I'm shouting everybody out. RBGTs, these guys support me. They donated $40 to the movement. Y'all got to get there right now. The holographic relationship, the follow-up to the relationship dismount. Throughout the show, I will be shouting out people who are donating. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing Ramomar NYC. The brother just sent me a package of 10 shirts. I'm going to give away some of those shirts for people who do donations of over $100. You do more than $100, holla at me, or I'll see you, and I'm going to try to get you a shirt. Now, let me tell you this. If you over XX, it ain't going to work. The shirt might fit on your pinky, on your wrist. You can wear it as a watch and stuff, but you ain't gonna be able to wear it as a t-shirt. I got XLs, but I need these donations. I need you guys to continue to support. There was a brother out of England, Hafiz Toby, right? This brother sent $300 over the weekend yesterday. Let me just say, a lot of people are donating, but we need That 87, or right now we're at 88 backers. We need more than 88 backers. That's just the bottom line. Now that I've gotten that out the way, somebody just sent me a book that I'm about to send to my son. NCAA Slave, Economic Exploitation of College Athletes. Attention, read this book before signing any college athletic contract. This information could change your future. Terry Bates. Listen, I got a story to tell. Watch when all the dust settle. And this little motherfucker I'm raising make it to the NBA. Watch when all the dust settle, the shit I got to tell. You feel me? We got work to do, people. Go support this brother's book. Hey, Bobby Glanton Smith is in the building. You know it. If Bobby is in the building, you got to support Real Men Don't Play. Let me show these books to people. Real Men Don't Play right here. This is Bobby Glanton Smith. Please support Bobby Glanton Smith. Real Men Don't Play at realmendon'tplay.com. It's a manual for manhood. I always say that. Here is my book, The Relationship Dismount, How to Stick the Landing When Exiting a Toxic Relationship. Hey, I need you to sell this book out. It's not sold out yet. I did do a reorder, but I need you to sell us out. We need the funds. All available funds are going to the development of the Relationship Dismounts follow-up, the holographic relationship. Got to continue to support this work. Oh, by the way, NCAA Slave by Terry Bates. You guys got to support that. Dr. Mark Goulston is in the building. What? Just listen. International #1 best-selling book. Please don't play yourself. If you're in business, listen, business is all about relationships. Relationships is all about communication. Communication is all about listening. If you don't have this book, you losing money. How about that? This is a powerful work. Please support Dr. Mark Goulston. Just listen. Great book. He also has another one that's rapidly becoming a bestseller, Talking to Crazy. Now, you know, if you had to talk to your mama, you had to talk to crazy. If you had to talk to your daddy, you had to talk to crazy, a special kind of crazy. Incredible book. Please continue to support Dr. Mark Goulston's work. Also, I'm trying to run through this as rapidly as I can. Shepherd's Sweets. Come on, right now. Shepherd's Sweets. This sister makes candy. Man, candy, cakes. Look, this is some kind of butternut,
Crack.
almond,
Amazing.
crunch. Jesus Christ. Go to shepherdssweets.com. Shepherd's Sweets, right? She makes all kind of stuff, man. Dr. G done bought a bunch of candy. Man, this shit is crazy. Please continue to support this sister. Please continue to support her business. This is what we got to do. Also, Freedom Paper Company. If there's a black-owned company that's creating toilet paper, you better not ever have Charmin in your house again. I don't want to see Charmin. I don't want to see none of that shit. Huggies, none of these people. They listen, they got toiletries. Homeboy said it's not toilet paper. It's bathroom paper. You ain't gonna shit on our paper. It's bathroom paper. You understand? It's napkins for your ass.
Oh.
You understand? I'm telling you, a black-owned company, Freedom Paper Company. I'm promoting all of these businesses for free. This is how black people get off the ground. Somebody's got to make their sacrifice, right? I'm doing it right now. FreedomPaperCompany.com. Please continue to support those people right now. RBGTs. These brothers do all kind of revolutionary T-shirts and hoodies. They gave me a bunch of hoodies, very nice, high-quality hoodies. Please continue to support those brothers as well. RBGTs.com. Power in One, another company, innovative. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, all types of accessories. Power in One, that's PIO Clothing.com, PIOclothing.com. Please continue to support, Cash Mob 'em. Here's another company, Sister, produce my app. If you have my app, you got what I just got. And that was a notification that said, hey, guess what? Zoe Williams and the ZoWhat show is about to come on live. This sister is a professional. If you got a business, you don't have a real business if you don't have an online store that's on somebody's phone. The new website is an app, and that app is on the phone, that means your phone is in people's homes. You better get mindblowingmobile.com. If you doing business, go to mindblowingmobile.com. There's no reason Bobby shouldn't have a Real Men Don't Play app.
I'm writing it down.
Jesus Christ. Let me tell you right now, go see that sister. Her name is Wanda Trotter. She produced my app. If you don't believe my app is the business, you better go take a look at it again. Stop playing yourself. Here we go. Easy Boy Web. These brothers, they produce my website. Do you see the business I'm doing? I'm doing business with the people to promote their business. They did my website so you can see the proof. The social proof is my website. My website is on fire. Go there right now. IamZoWilliams.com. You see the work that they've done. Easy Boy Web. The brother's name is Landon Williams. He's a solid brother. Always wants to work out, connect, and commune with people. That's the brother you want to work with, Landon Williams. What else we got? What else? Hey, man, I think I did it all. So if I did it all and I did it in record time. Oh, I did weed juice. Bobby?
Gar Enterprises, Mr. Leon T. Gar, the black business guru of Los Angeles. He's now 102 years old, and he's still putting that work out there for people to do work and to benefit from his dynasty that he got. Gar Auto Body and Gar Construction.
Okay,
recycle some of them dollars.
So look at this. Look what just happened. Rico Clothing. These are my boys over at POI. Power in One Clothing. Just donated another $50 to the Zoe Williams holographic relationship book Indiegogo campaign. I need to shout you out on today's show. If you want to get hollered out today, that's a perk right there. I'm going to holler you out right now. Get to that fucking website and donate like crazy. We need more than 89 contributors. When we created the relationship dismount, 319 people donated. No, we didn't hit our mark, but those 319 people are in the book. You want to be in the new book? Donate right now. I'm going to shout you out. Listen, that's the community empowerment. Don't forget to go get the relationship dismount. It's available on iTunes or iBooks, Kindle. But if you want the personal touch, go to my website. I am Zoe Williams. Order it right there. I'll mail you out a copy today. I got orders to do right now. Holla at me. I'll be back in 2.2.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
In chapter 10, we talk about the difference between being embittered, embattled, or embittered. So, if you're embittered, of course you're holding on to things. You're resentful. You're resistant. If you're embattled, you're fighting. No, I don't accept that. I don't want that. But if you're open and you're allowing the process to unfold and flower within you and beyond you, you have an opportunity to become embittered. And chapter 10 goes into detail on how to stop being embittered, how to stop looking for the win by being embattled, and how to evolve and expand to a space of embitterment. I mean, it's an incredible work, man, and I'm excited about it.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Kyle Mass, and you're checking out T Radio V.
T Radio V.
T Radio V.
Hello, T Radio V. Love you guys. Radio in TV.
Radio in TV.
If the fish swam out of the ocean and
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Why is a white guy like me co-hosting a black radio show? I think toxic relationships cause you to take poor care of yourself. That if you can recognize danger, if you can pause, if you can take some breaths, refocus, and engage, you might be able to dodge a bullet that you're going to send or coming towards you. One of the things that men don't get is that often women need to vent first to clear their mind. So today's show,
Oh, wow. Heavy topic.
well, I'm almost finished teeing it up there, so.
Oh! Watch your tone in your delivery now. Go ahead.
I'm PA. Instead of PC, I'm PA, passive aggressive.
There we go.
But today's topic is about child molesters and families, but I want to take a different angle on it. And the angle is on forgiving and forgetting. Are there some things that you shouldn't forgive, and are there some things that you shouldn't forget? Now, if you think about it, we need to not forgive people when we need to continue to blame them. So being unforgiving means inability to stop blaming them. So when you move on in life, when you move past things, you hang out with better people. And so it's not a question of forgiving or unforgiving. You just hang out with better people and you move on. As long as you stay with an unforgiving attitude, it's going to hold you back, and you're going to take it out on other people. Wow. Now we forget when we no longer need to remember. And so forgiving means, as I said, getting past it and moving on and not wanting to live a life where you're blaming people. Forgetting means, and this is why it's difficult to forget people who are molesters, is because there's so much evidence that they don't change. You know, that's why you have all these Amber Alerts. And so not forgetting means keeping your guard up and being somewhat cautious. Doesn't mean being paranoid. And so, rightly or wrongly, it's tough to forget that someone has molested a child unless they have changed, but it's tough to believe that they've changed because there's so much evidence, sadly, that they don't. Wow. And so you can forgive to let go of your attachment to all that anger which holds you back, but doesn't mean you have to forget. And so it probably makes some sense to be cautious around such people. And one final thing is, why is it that people have trouble, in some families, they will forgive anything. They'll forgive someone even after they continue to do it. And I think part of that is that sometimes when you loved someone or you thought they were safe and you discover they weren't, something goes on in your head where you say, wow, as right as I thought I was as wrong as I turned out to be. Maybe I'm wrong about everything. And so sometimes you hold on to, I think they're okay, because you don't want to believe if you were wrong about Uncle Charlie that you love, maybe you're wrong about everything, and that can turn you into a tailspin of self-doubt.
Damn, here we go. That's the setup for the show. Why is this show important? See, black people do a lot of hiding. We wear a lot of masks. Sometimes we wear a Christian mask. Sometimes we wear a corporate mask. Sometimes we wear a I'm over it mask. But the reality of it is, until we face those inner demons, we will not reach self-actualization as a people. So I want to have the difficult conversation like this one today. Uncle and Auntie Off Limits. A deeper look into sex offenders that are family members. This is a hard one because we all got that uncle weirdo or cousin strange or auntie that we're really worried about when the kids are around them. Maybe they're abusive in an emotional way, a psychological way, in a hurtful, mean way. Maybe they're abusive in a physical way. Maybe they're abusive in a sexual way. But the reality of it is, because they family, in a lightweight kind of way, sometimes we give them a pass. They still at Thanksgiving dinner. How do we deal with those kind of problems, and why do we choose to just act like they don't exist, compartmentalize them, lock them away, but not really deal with them? Sit down and really open that up. Bobby?
Well, if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. As you were saying, setting the show
If you
up.
can't change the people around you, change the people you're around.
Same thing.
Whatever.
That's what he meant.
Yeah. I meant what I said.
No,
but anyway, thank you,
That's why
Doc.
you have a
for-
white guy in the show. What
That's
can I tell
right.
you?
You doing your part. But this subject, you know, as you were just setting it up, Zoe, I was thinking about Antoine Fisher, who I've had the pleasure of knowing for a lot of years as a friend. And he went through unthinkable abuse as a child in what should have been a warm and safe environment. And he's one of the few people that was able to go through that and come out on the other side well-adjusted and about as square as L7 and really just a great human being in spite of being subjected to unthinkable atrocities that were put upon him by people that were supposed to protect him. So this subject matter today is a very sobering one, very serious one. So let's go on and just dive into the deep end and get this thing going.
I mean, because we're quick to say Whitey did this and Whitey did that and Whitey. Right. But it's a lot of deep, dark secrets that we refuse to deal with as a people. Now, did we get this depravity from white people? It's easy to blame white people for black depravity. But is black depravity a part of being black? Is it a human condition or is it a learned condition?
Little of both, you know, because if it don't come out in the wash, it's going to come out in the rinse. Because I've been around people who went through abuse, and you used to wonder why they had something, you know, they always had this funny look on their face. You just never felt that you fully connected to them because they had to just wear that mask that you talked about all of their life because they couldn't tell nobody what happened to them. And
Well, you know,
we've all interacted with people who've been through stuff, and you always wonder why you weren't close to them.
Wow. Go ahead, Doc.
I was a practicing shrink for many years, so I saw a number of people were molested and raped and all sorts of horrible things. And Bobby brings up a good point, and there's a disconnect. And part of the disconnect is that when you are molested and you're young, it eliminates the ability to trust anyone. You know, and there's something, I think it was Erickson has all these stages in your personality, and the first one is basic trust to basic mistrust. So if you go into the world basically mistrusting people, that's a different interaction with the world than if you basically trust people. So if you can imagine that right at the moment when you're deciding whether you can trust or mistrust, and that was Albert Einstein's most favorite, but famous, but couldn't be famous, but unknown quote, is the most important decision you'll ever make in life is whether the world is safe or dangerous. And so what happens is when someone violates you to the core of your ability to trust, that means you can't let anyone in, because revealing something like that is entrusting them with something, and if it's your core you can't trust, it's impossible, because if something has broken your ability to trust anyone, you can't entrust anyone with this awful secret. It's just this cancer that lives in you for your entire life.
Oh, God, what if that violation came at the hands of a family member, an uncle, a sister, a brother, a mom, a dad?
And what if you opened up and everyone said, oh, you're making it up, it's just your imagination? Because that happens a lot. You finally burst open because, you know, some teacher, some caring person says anything going on, and you blow the whistle and the whole family says, oh, you're imagining it. Your brother would never do that.
Your dad would never do that.
The pastor never would do that.
The pastor, oh, we don't even
Never.
want it. Whew. We got a new brother. Welcome to the show. He the homie, young cat, trying to mentor him, trying to big him up. He young. He trying to start some new things. I want to introduce y'all to him. He from the East Coast. He from Queens. Queensbridge, stand up.
Queens representing.
What's up, man? Talk to him. Tell the people who you are. Tell them your name, where they can find you and follow you, and then contribute to the show.
This is BEZ0920, a.k.a. Brandon, coming from Queens, New York. Just moved to L.A., so happy to be here.
So about this topic, have you, because, even dealing with women who have been in that situation, so many, especially in African American, so many sisters have been raped.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes a lot of those sisters have been raped by family members, uncles, whoever, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with it? How do you relate to that? Because Doc and I talk about this all the time. When people are traumatically injured, they create a coping mechanism so that they can deal with it, so they can get through it, right? So I'm coping with it, and then next thing you know, the coping mechanism becomes the operating system for how they interface in relationship, right? So have you ever had difficulty dealing with a sister that went through that and the relationship was problematic because of that? Speak on that. And then Doc and Bobby.
In my dating experiences, yeah, I have dealt with that. A lot of sisters have been touched by family members, uncles, aunts, and it kind of swayed them to move faster in a relationship.
Oh, promiscuity.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So they already passed.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw the movie. Now what?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, but part of the promiscuity, and you can tell me whether this fits for them. It fits for some white women who have gone through that. When I've drilled down, part of the promiscuity is it's almost an angry determination. I'm going to prove to myself that this didn't screw me up. And so they go the opposite direction. They don't get close, but it's almost like I'm going to have sex with a vengeance, and it's almost like they're trying to clean out the dirt by adding more dirt to their life. It's crazy, Mick.
It's like their decision maker.
Exactly.
It's their decision maker.
The trauma is elevated to decision maker in especially with relationship choices. Bobby?
A bad situation gets worse when you are divorced from your motivation, your purpose for living, and where it is you want to end up in terms of your legacy. Because whether we talk about it enough or not, every human being with the ability to think and reason wants to be loved and cared for. Mm-hmm. Now, how you get there is problematic, especially if you've been abused, because now you're confusing love with sex and sex with power and revenge and all these other emotions, and then you end up being an object again.
Wow.
In the process of trying to get to that place where you really want to be, and that's just loved and cared for and respected.
You know, I mentioned this in a prior show, and Zoe picked up on it, but sometimes I've seen people like this over the years, and something that I've told them, and I said, you know what I think you're most afraid of? I don't think you're most afraid of someone taking advantage of you. I think you're most afraid of feeling 100% emotionally and psychologically safe. Because if you felt completely emotionally and psychologically safe, the pain that hasn't been safe to feel, it's just infecting your soul, would start to release, and it would, and there's a part of you feels that you just couldn't tolerate it. And as I'm saying this to them, the tears, they just start sobbing. Mm-hmm. They just stop. Mm-hmm. They say, I don't know what's going on. And part of it is I'm trying to give them that safety.
So it's like safe is an illusion. And this trauma that I've had is now my companion. It's almost like a friend. It's like a safe haven.
Right. But if you can experience safety with another individual, and a lot of it's not what they say, it's how you feel, and you earn it through the test of time. Like, what I hope is that and I'll say this, my black brothers on this show feel safe with me. I mean, my hope is that you feel, Dr. G isn't going to take advantage of us. He's not going to, he'll humiliate himself, but he won't humiliate us. But it took time to earn that. I mean, Jeff Kids, when he's here, he says, when the revolution comes, you're safe, Doc.
Correct.
We're putting you in the basement.
We got a white room for you, Doc.
Just make sure you put a lot of that Shepherd's whatever candy next to me.
Oh, Jesus, that candy is ridiculous. Let me ask these questions before I go to break. True or false? Child sexual predators oftentimes already know or have access to your children. See, a lot of people try to get your kids prepared for the world. Parents be like, the world is this, the world is that. No, it's the crib. That's poisonous. That's dangerous. But a lot of times we don't teach that family members can harm. When you look at rapists and child abusers and all of that, most of them are by people who they knew. It's not no I'm not saying it don't happen. It's rare that the random out the blue person rapes somebody. It's usually, hey, what you doing? I know you. What's this? Do you understand what I'm saying? And we got to deal with that as a community. There's a lot of shit black people got to heal from in order for us to reach any level of organizational success, right? You can't do business with somebody you resent from a spiritual space. So this is what we're going to deal with today. I got to take a quick break, but when I come back, my phone guest is on the line. Today's topic, Uncle and Auntie Off Limits, a deeper look into the world, the depraved world of the family sexual predator. We'll be back at 2.2. ZoWhat Morning! Holla!
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
I'm Zoe Williams.
And I'm Dr. Mark Goulston.
I'm Jeff Brown.
And we make up the ZoWhat Morning Show. You can find us here on TRadiov.com every Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I make you think.
He makes you laugh, and if I get a chance, I'll help you change.
Or make you cry with his attempts at humor.
Radio in TV.
Can you relate? We'll make it happen.
Look at Jeff. What you doing?
Were you mumbling to yourself?
Hey, back there mumbling.
To them.
Hey geeks, wake up! We've got big news. I'm not gonna mumble this time. Geekscape, the long-running movie video game. Let me do one more. Hey geeks, we got big news! Geekscape, your favorite show about movies, video games, comics, and TV, is coming to T Radio V Monday, October 6th, and it'll be on every Monday from then on, 7 p.m. Until the apocalypse happens. We're all eaten by zombies.
Hi, I'm Ty Simpkins.
Miss Danielle Basutti.
Hi, this is Brooke Peoples.
I'm Jocelyn Donahue.
Hi, I'm Keegan Allen, and you're watching
T Radio V. T Radio V.
T Radio V, radio in TV. Was that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
T Radio V. Yo.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Hi, I'm Bob Nalbandian, and be sure to watch my show Inside Metal, which airs live every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on T Radio V. I'm going to be bringing in the greatest heavy metal artists live right here in the studio. Once again, every week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Tuesday, right here at TRadiov.com, radio in TV.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Hey, let the beats rock. Just turn that up a little bit. Just turn it up.
I heard that James Brown.
That's my homeboy Broadway making those beats.
That's James Brown right there. Hit me. That's hip hop.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ZoWhat Morning Show back in the building. Tough topic today. We got to do it. Before I get to it, let me shout out Trey Young, 12 minutes ago, $25 donation to the Holographic Relationship Book Project. Denise Watts, $25, 18 minutes ago. Goddess Quality, 18 minutes ago, $10. And Rico Clothing is its own clothing company. That's RICCO clothing.com. They donated $50.
Right on.
Alvin Delk, 43 minutes ago, donated $50. We've got 5 donations since the show started. I need y'all to kick it up. Get to Zoe Williams' new book, The Holographic Relationship, on Indiegogo. This is a campaign that we're doing right now. I'm going to shout everybody out for doing it. Now let me get back to the topic. On the line, we have a legal attorney, because this is a serious situation. And a lot of times we choose family over the law, even when family has broken the law. We have somebody on the line, Joe. Attorney Joe, can you come in and speak to us? I know you've been watching the show, right?
I have. Yes, I have, Zoe. Thank you for having me on.
Man, thank you for being available to speak on this. What is the first thing a parent should do? What's the first thing? You find out your son or daughter has been molested by a father, an uncle, an auntie, a cousin, a brother. Shit. What is the first thing a parent should do when that happens?
Well, I can speak to, here's the thing, Zoe. What I do is probably a little bit infamous because I'm sort of on the other side of that as a criminal defense attorney. Because what I do is I actually represent a lot of people who have been falsely accused, and obviously
speak to
the other side, the victim, is a tragedy, of course, but you would be surprised how many times it's a vindictive person in the family, generally, for example, an ex-girlfriend, a jilted lover, what have you, who has a child and has exposed her, ex or soon-to-be ex-boyfriend or husband to that stepchild, and that's generally where I see a lot of these is with stepchildren. And obviously, it is actually a problem in society. It's a very tragic one, and it's very sad, and it's destructive. It can destroy the victim, for the rest of their life. But on the other side of it, there are malicious, malevolent personalities out there who use this as a sort of a gambling chip or a leverage tool, for example, in a child custody situation against the accused party. That's also a horrible miscarriage of justice, because not only will that person go through a very crushing legal system where you have the awesome power of the government and all its resources lined up against you, in addition to that, you have a lifetime stigma, which we all know is the sex offender registry. With the internet and just the high visibility of that, it's a stigma that is not easily removed.
So how often?
Go ahead.
So how often, or what is the percentage of the false sexual abuse claim? Like, is it rising? Is this like an industry where people are making money? Because that's something that's kind of hard to prove, right?
It is and it isn't. It's hard to prove in the sense that, I'll just to give a little context here, but generally what the way that the longevity or the chronology of something like this is, everything begins with the accusation, obviously, right, that's made to the parent, or maybe the parent will just, make the accusation on behalf of the child. Then it goes to a detective. Usually police precincts have specially assigned divisions for this type of crime. Then it'll go to a prosecutor. Now, there are the thing that contaminates the integrity of many of these accusations is the social and political pressure on the prosecutor, because the prosecutor's office is, after all, most people don't know this, it's actually an elected office. You have, for example, we had Steve Cooley, now we have Jackie Lacey, and all the various district attorneys are politicians. So at the end of the day, the DA's office has to answer to the voters, and if the voters feel that these cases are not receiving the type of attention that they should, and of course, legitimate ones ought to be. I mean, nobody can argue that. But it also creates a breeding ground for wrongful prosecution, where the prosecutor, having to deal with that burden and that pressure, will do whatever it takes to win. And unfortunately, the legal system that we have in California and federally, technically you do not need, it's not required that the prosecutor have to show a jury forensic evidence to corroborate the claim. I mean, literally, a verbal accusation can result in, a false verbal accusation can lead down a path where a person is prosecuted and convicted just on the testimony of the accusing party.
Wow.
So you can only imagine that if a vindictive person in the falling out, and I deal with these all the time, and we end up exposing them as totally false. As far as a percentage, even though I cannot put a clear number on it, it is jaw-droppingly high. I mean, what I see, and it's corroborated. It's not like, most of my clients come to me and just sort of deny it for the sake of trying to get off. We later end up corroborating it with a private investigator. There are a lot of inconsistencies come out later on, and we find out that the person who made the accusation had something to hide or has done it before. and that contaminates as a society, our ability to sort of see things objectively.
Objectively,
and
yeah.
That's the scary, scary thing for dads, for soon-to-be, ex-husbands or ex-boyfriends. The great tragedy of this is that you're going to find people who want to take advantage of it. You see this a lot in custody, battle situations. That is something that society has not tackled. The ease with which a person can end up in prison and end up on a lifetime sex offender registry because of something other than the truth. And that's where my office, the Coimbra Law Firm, we do everything possible to push back against that in the capacity that we have.
So Joe,
that's been my experience.
Really quickly, Joe, Dr. G and Bobby Glanton have a question for you. Bobby, then Doc.
Percentage-wise, what proportion do you think is a accurate reflection of the incidents that you just referred to in terms of the people that you defend and represent? What proportion of those people have been wrongly accused, and how many times are these people actually guilty of sexual abuse?
Right. Well, generally, I'll give you the answer, but I'll preface it by saying that generally, we turn down a lot of cases. A lot of people come to us, hey, because we have a magnificent record and we got 5-star reviews online and all that. But generally, we like cases where there's sufficient evidence or there is a lack of corroborating evidence, where we think we can win. We can have the case dismissed. Those are the cases that I know. I have full conviction of innocence. And, if I were to look at the percentage of the cases I've turned down because I think that there is probably sufficient evidence, meaning it actually happened, there was misconduct, there was sexual misconduct, as opposed to the ones where we feel we can take because there's innocence, I'll just say it's right down the middle. It's about 50%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's been my experience, and we deal with thousands and thousands of these a year. And my experience has been that a great deal of them, especially in a child custody context, in a relationship that is falling out, it happens enough to definitely raise alarm. And while there has to be obviously awareness and a discussion of when it actually happens, I think on the other hand, because we are a democratic society and because of due process, and we're not the type of country that should summarily convict somebody because of the social stigma associated with it. That's also a conversation I feel needs to happen.
Dr. G?
I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. What were you before you became a criminal attorney? Were you ever in the
prosecutor side of it?
Yeah.
No. I have always and only been in the legal industry, and it's okay. You're not putting me on the spot. I feel comfortable talking about that. I have not worked. I've worked with former prosecutors. I was trained by former prosecutors. So I've only done this, and I've only dedicated myself to this, but I've done sufficient scholarly research, I believe, and I've come across enough cases where there isn't corroborating evidence and where there's been a history of deceit by the accusing party that it concerns me. It concerns me, and that's why we focus on that area.
Yeah, so you probably get where I'm coming from. So I know a number of former prosecutors, and they generally, when they leave the DA's office, they become criminal attorneys. And I know some where the day before they crossed over, they would say, oh, these criminal attorneys are scumbags. They're hiding all these people that are guilty. They'll do anything to win their case. And then as soon as they cross over, they say everybody has the right to a vigorous defense. And, and the prosecution has all this stuff going for it, and unlimited thing. And and what they'd say is if we free one innocent person and 24 others are guilty, it's worth it because of our system. So it's always been a curiosity because I've just seen them go, tooth and nail against criminal attorneys when they're still prosecutors, and then when they change, their tone of voice changes. Well, everybody has the right to such and such. So I just wanted to.
Hey, Joe, let me say this. This is Zoe. Well, how can people follow you? Are you located in California? How do people connect with you?
We have offices all up and down the state of California. The best way to reach me is just go to our website. It's Coimbra Law, just my last name, COI, M as in Mary, B as in boy, RA, law.com, Coimbra Law, or just Google our firm. But, to the point of the gentleman who just spoke, I agree. I do see that bias. And to be quite honest with you, it actually bothers me on both sides because I do try to maintain a level of objectivity in a broader sense where I do see, and this is actually what bothers me about a lot of public defenders, is there seems to be a great deal of making excuses for really atrocious behavior.
Right.
And, coming at it, playing devil's advocate for the prosecutor here a little bit, but I do see a lot of that. Generally, and we have the luxury of not taking those cases, generally those are not cases that we take. It's certainly true that the person is entitled to a vigorous defense, but I also like to have a conviction that I'm doing the right thing. And I'd be doing the right thing either way because of the Constitution, and everybody's got a right to a defense. But I do like to focus on cases where I can make a positive contribution to society by seeing a young man not have his life totally ruined because his ex didn't like that he was flirting with other women, or they have a financial falling out or whatever, and then it turns into a person who's totally wrongfully accused. That's the part that's scary.
Wow.
And what we fight
that's
against.
great. And is that your brand? I mean, do people associate that with your firm and stuff, that you tend to be stand-up guys and doing that you're not there to try and get the rightfully accused people off, that you're there, that you want to give everyone their chance, and you don't want an innocent person to be wrongly convicted?
Wow. Listen, I got to take a quick break. Joe, are you going to stay on with us, or do you have a few more minutes to give us?
I think I do have a few more minutes. I'll probably have to conclude a little after 12, but I'll let you know.
No worries. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back to you, and then Veronica Conway is going to join us later. Listen, it's going down. Hey, we got a couple more people who have donated to the holographic relationship book. Rita Glanberry, Rita G, just donated 7 minutes ago $50 to the movement. Ron Hendricks, 8 minutes ago, $100 to the movement. And Q Moon 16, 4 minutes ago, just donated $50. Listen, you want to get shouted out? Please get to my Indiegogo campaign page, Zoe Williams' new book, The Holographic Relationship. Watch how the holographic relationship ties into the trauma that we're dealing with today. We'll be back in 2.2, man. It's going to be crazy. ZoWhat Mornings, holla!
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Relationship Dismount is a book that I created. It's a breakup and makeup book. But what's interesting about this particular book is I used gymnastics to come up with a concept based off of sticking the landing. Everybody knows that in a gymnast's routine, one of the most important and crucial to the success of that routine is how they end it, how they finish it. And I decided to come up with the concept of relationship dismount using this metaphor. Sticking the landing, how you end it is how you begin it moving forward. So we wanted to take that metaphor and really expound on it in the context of intimate relationships.
T Radio V.
What did you play opposite Andy, Eric? Do you remember?
Andy and I worked as two employees at a network.
Okay. Oh, you're forgetting the other thing.
I played a news anchor, and he played a reporter.
Okay, but the other thing you did, the thing you did on the Andy Dick show, who did you play to Andy?
Oh, is that going to play my sister?
You played his wife, Denise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played his wife.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that, Eliza?
Nothing's wrong with it.
He's got a great range as an actor.
Yeah, it just was funny.
Encounters with Eric and Eliza Roberts, Wednesdays from 2 to 4 p.m. on T Radio V.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
When I'm having sex, it's like you can't initiate touch me. I have to know that you're gonna touch me. And when you go to touch me, it's like I had to like brace myself. This is during like a sexual encounter. I would have to brace myself just for you to touch me. My name is Ronald Savage. When I was younger, I was molested by Africa Bambaataa. Africa Bambaataa is the founding father of hip-hop. He's the co-founder of the Universal Zulu Nation. He's done tons of records like Planet Rock, Looking for the Perfect Beat. I met them when I was around 14. When I was in the 9th grade, I was cut in one day, and I had called Africa Bambaataa, and because I didn't have nowhere to go. So I went up to his house. He paid the cab, and I was in the living room. Another gentleman was there, and it looked like they was DJing. And Bam told me that I could go into his bedroom because the TV was on. So I went to the bedroom, and I was in there. And I say I was in the bedroom no more than 3-4 minutes. And Bam took out his penis, and he started jerking it. And he told me that for me to take mine out. And at that time, I didn't really understand what jerking was. So he was telling me, oh, that everybody does it. He unzipped my pants, and he took it out, and he started jerking it. And then he put my hand on it, and then started making me jerk it. Then he left the room, and the guy that was in the living room, he came into the room. And when he came into the room, his thing was already out. And I got up off the bed, and I left. Another time, Bam came to my house. The thing that really stayed in my mind and really freaked me out is I had to lay on the bed, and I had to cross my legs. And he would put his penis in between my legs and then pump up and down. And I remember at the time I had this big guy like on me, and from that time I bugged out. I'm not gonna lie, like it confused me, like, cause I had never had sex before in my life. No one's never touched me like that, and to be touched, my first time being touched was by a man. During the course of growing up, I told like,
okay. Why is that important? Listen, man. You know how powerful hip-hop is? You know how powerful music is? Hip-hop is music. Hip-hop is artistry. It's creativity. Listen to me very carefully. This is why I tell my daughter, I got a 16-year-old. I said, characteristics doesn't equal character. Talent doesn't equal character. Sometimes we'll be blown away by the artistry and the genius of somebody and think they're a good person because they create a good feeling in you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow, that music moved me. That must come from a good place. Not all the time. Not all the time. You see that brother right there? The way he interacts is irrevocably changed because of that experience with somebody who wouldn't have got their time of day had it not been for what he represented. Do you understand? Planet Rock? You listen to that record, Planet Rock, you understand, like, Jesus, whoa. That move when we were kids. First off, when I was a kid, you know what I was listening to before hip hop really blew up? Men at Work, The Police, Duran Duran, Culture Club, some weird shit. Hip hop blasted on the scene, changed everything. What the fuck is that? Do you understand? So when you get hit with that energy, you automatically are in a kind of default position to look up like, wow, that guy made that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Dr. G. Bobby. Go ahead, Doc.
You know, over the years, I said I've seen a lot of people who were molested and raped, and something that I really believe is that our skin, separate from our mind, has a memory of good touch, bad touch, and no touch. And the sad thing is that when you've had bad touch, you'll protect yourself, and so you freeze off, and you end up with a life of sort of no touch, but you're starved for good touch, and good touch is safe touch. And it's interesting because, you know, we all, I think when we see each other here on the show, we hug each other, and good touch is a touch in which you're giving and not taking. And I think what that brother went through is you're with someone and you think you're going to be given to by someone famous. You go there, oh, I'm with someone famous, and they give me something, and then they take something from you. It's got to rip your whole heart and your psyche inside out and upside down.
Wow. Bobby?
I got a comment and then hopefully a question to Joe if he's still on the air. As they were showing that brother's testimony, I couldn't help but think of R. Kelly and the fact that it was alleged that he sexually abused a number of young girls. And because he was wealthy and famous, we could never get our minds around the fact that, yeah, that was him, and that was a 14 or 15-year-old girl. And then this brother talking about somebody who was a hip-hop icon. My question to you, Joe, is, as a lawyer / human being, how do we move away from the power of perception and wealth when we're trying to get to the justice in all of this?
Well, that's an excellent question, and yeah, I mean, as a human being, that is an observation that is pretty daunting. That there are people who seem to be above the law. You know, that seems to be across the board, whether it's music, to politics, and I don't know that that's ever going to go away. Unfortunately, I think that great points were made about people being sort of blinded by the glitter, blinded by the fame, and also the fear of having your whole world, your perception torn to pieces by such a daunting allegation. As to how that plays out in the legal system, it just like in every other area of life, it does have an impact. I mean, the more representation that you can afford, you put a buffer between yourself and the allegation. Generally, the cases that we take on, or your average sort of blue collar person caught up in that they don't have that luxury. They don't have that extra buffer to shield them from an allegation. So everything comes down to what we're able to do and exposing the truth. That's not, that makes our work much more satisfactory, knowing that the only thing that we have to latch on to is the truth of the matter, and not, give this person a pass because they've accomplished this or that measure of fame. It definitely has an impact. All throughout the court system and, everywhere, probably internationally.
Wow. Hey, man, listen, let me just say this, Joe. I appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to call in and participate, man. This meant the world to me. Thank you so much for your contribution. I'm sure a lot of people learned a lot, man. He was great.
Can we get his website?
I'm about to get it right now. What's your website again so people right now can lock in? Engineers, I want you guys to listen to this and get this up. Go ahead.
Coimbra Law, that's spelled C-O-I.
C-O-I.
M as in Mary.
M.
Yeah, M as in Mary. B as in boy, R-A, CoimbraLaw.com.
We're going to pull your website up right now. And we want everybody who's listening right now, if you're in the state of California, can you practice in other states? But or maybe even advise for people in other states?
We generally take cases in California. We're in the process of pursuing licensing in the state of Wisconsin. But generally, as of now, it's mainly California. California alone, there's so much activity.
I was going to ask you, why Wisconsin? Is Wisconsin a hotbed for that kind of false claim?
Well, most places are. I mean, it really doesn't depend on the state. It really depends on just population density. A lot of you get sort of a combination of rural and urban, and you get both. So there's no specific reason we have gotten some interest. But it's not necessarily, I think, anything endemic to Wisconsin. But generally, we will take any case in the state of California having to do with a criminal accusation. We meet with clients, totally free consultation. I like to give everybody an opportunity and a courtesy to meet them over the phone. Most attorneys don't care to do that. It's, hey, I'll talk to you over the phone for a few minutes, give you a price, and hang up. I don't really like to do that. I understand people are struggling, and we work with everybody regardless of their circumstance. But the main thing is that never-ending drive and push that our office has to make sure they're not railroaded by a pretty daunting criminal justice system that seems to care a little bit more about the accuser regardless of whether there's corroborating evidence. And we just want to make sure our clients have a voice in all of that confusion and chaos that can often arise out of that. But I thank you for having me on the program, and anytime you need legal expertise to be heard, it'll be my pleasure to carve out some moments out of the day and join you guys.
I appreciate you so
Thank
much.
you,
Thanks
Joe.
again,
Thank you.
man. That was awesome. Listen, we've got Veronica Conway on the line. We desperately need a female voice. Now, let me just say this. She may have a frog in her throat because she's a little sick. But you already know she gonna drop that hot monkey lava, that conscious spiritual unicorn goddess queen shit. We gotta have this conversation. Can you talk about the spiritual wounding that happens when a family member, come on, Veronica, jump in here.
Well, one of the things that Nichama has often, he's worked with a lot of women that have been sexually violated, right? Because one of the things that he's discovered in working with over 4,000 women is that when people experience this kind of trauma, it gets locked up in the cellular memory of the body, right? So it's not even so much the emotional. It is partly the emotional wounding that happens, but it's also it gets physically embodied in the body, right? And so women often end up being very dysfunctional. Their internal parts become, he has a process where he goes in and kind of decalcifies it because it creates, sexual trauma creates sort of a wounding and a calcification of the organs that I don't think even kind of Western medicine is very aware of. So it's a really damaging thing, and I think it's so damaging to our community that we can no longer continue to be passive bystanders in what I think is an institutional. Sexual predatorship is kind of institutionalized at this point on this planet. I don't know if you guys saw that recently. They're talking about Seymour Hersh, who's a very famous journalist, is talking about he's blowing the lid open on Abu Ghraib because that was the place where were torturing prisoners, but they're finding out that U.S. soldiers were raping and sodomizing little Arab boys in front of their mothers. In front of their mothers, right? And so, the 6,700 pages of classified information about that, because the United States know that if it releases that, then they look like hypocrites around ISIS and all of that, because so we have to understand that kind of predatory behavior is institutionalized in the military. It's institutionalized in the Catholic Church. It was institutionalized at Penn State. And so as it becomes more normalized, then we sort of get the opportunity to sort of overlook it because it's really in the fabric of how we live here on the planet.
Now, you know, Veronica's touching on something real heavy. Let me say this. I'm about to say something really controversial. The only reason why pedophilia, right, is a crime is because crime pays. The lawyer was just here talking about the false claims and the real claims. Either way, money is being generated. Veronica can speak to this ad infinitum. The guy who was on our show a couple weeks back, Irritated Genie, we can start talking about white sex and the depravity of it. There's an article out right now, www.express.co.uk, that has some leading scientists saying we can't prove sex with children does them harm. Says
right. Right.
Listen, if this shit didn't generate bread, let's not forget slavery still exists today. The slave trade still exists today, and it's a sex slave trade. And they not kidnapping old fat MILFs. They kidnapping young hotties. Can we just can we get real with it right now? And I'm gonna say this too. No, I'll save that for later. Brandon, you had a point, and then Bobby.
I wanted to go off the point back to Africa Bambaataa. With the Africa Bambaataa situation, I was talking to my friend about it for a different perspective from it. I was reading the article, and they said that the kid was the young man that got molested. He was also allegedly got molested. He was also fighting for, it was like a special law that was on the ballot this year. In New York City about like rape charges after statute of limitations. So we can't put it past the powers that be that they can make something like this up to destroy hip hop. Could they potentially do that?
Well,
that's interesting. I mean, we did the same conspiratorial kind of angle for Cosby because he was trying to buy NBC and. Okay, well, we're going to hit you with all of these rape claims. A lot of them have looked very, very fraudulent under the light of scrutiny, under the light of intelligent, objective scrutiny. But at the same time, well, that's going to go into my final thought. Bobby, speak on that.
Well, I just think that as hard as it is to do sometimes, we have to accept the fact that there's only two kind of people, the caught and the uncaught. Ooh. And sometimes because people are allegedly famous, they do get that pass. And we don't question the veracity of the charges or the allegations because we love them for what they do, not who they are. 'Cause we really don't know folks. We really don't know people. We think that we do, and it's damaging to our psychic to know that, man, I've been misled. I've been thinking this was a wonderful person all these years, and they're not really a good person as a human being. Great actor, great singer, great athlete, and then we'll merge those two and come up with a mess, all right?
Listen, we haven't gotten any donations in the last 27 minutes. You know that this is the best free radio television program you've ever experienced.
But it's not free.
It is free. They ain't paying for it.
But you are, and I am. My time is valuable.
Yeah, I understand, Bobby. I'm just saying it's costing us. Yeah. But I'm just saying we need your support to get over $5,000 before this show is over. We're at 4,675. Let's not play games. Let's support this movement. As much shit as we do for y'all, come on now. Come on, y'all got to rock with us today. Listen, the last one we got was 27 minutes ago, Q Moon 16, and they donated $50. We're going to take a quick break. I need y'all to go do some supporting. We'll be back at 2.2. We got more information on this topic and the final thought and everything is coming up. Oh, yeah, Bobby got a little rant for us. We'll be back at 2.2.
Solar children, there is no known record of the day that my life began. There will never be a record of the day that my life ended. I am the antivirus. When I was awake, you mistakenly called me the son of a...
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
everybody knows that relationships, when they break down, can be extremely hurtful, disappointing, frustrating, and the cocoon was, the concept of it was created from a poem I wrote called The Human Chrysalis in my first book, The Rebirth of Seeds. And what I explained was, when you break up with someone, you need time and space to kind of flush out and process all of your feelings, all of your attachments, your evaluation of yourself, your evaluation of your partner, time to, you know, almost take inventory of all of the things that you are accountable for. So in chapter 3, you know, the cocoon is designed for you to go inside and work out these, you know, particular problems or issues, and not only work them out, but actually take ownership of them before you jump into something else with someone else. So we wanted to create this space of healing, this space of kind of internal inventory before moving into the next situation with unresolved relationship debris.
Gotta let it go. There's a better day waiting for you, for you, for you.
Hi kids, Billy and Francesca here for my brand new show at T Radio V, Advice from an Idiot, every Thursday from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific time. So please call in and get some advice from someone who knows absolutely nothing about everything.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Exactly where you fucked up.
Woo! Today's topic, man, is fire, man. Uncle and Auntie off limits. You think because you sequester them that the damage isn't done? Can you heal a child molester? Can a child molester be healed? Can a child molester be healed by God? By any religion? By meditation? By self-realization? I don't know. I don't know. What about NAMBLA? What's that, NAMBLA? Is that the National, what is it, Association of Man and Boy Love? That's real. That's real.
That is real.
And you find a lot of 1%ers and wealthier people will go to other countries where it's okay. Right? What about the church? You know, you talk about the abuse that's happening in the church. Nobody want to deal with it. Watch when this final thought unravel on your ass. Nobody want to deal with the people that are the closest to us. I know people who have been abused by their parents, and it's still all love.
This is depressing.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
This is why I say, and I always come from this angle. Mother and father, and sometimes mothers more so than father, right? I've said this before, and this is no disrespect. Black women have a burden on their shoulders, just fucking living in America, just living here. The burden is not a game, okay? It's not a game. And until black men create an alternative system for her to believe in, confide in, and work with and build up, she gotta go to the devil in order to have cream of wheat on the table in the morning. You understand? She's got to. Ain't shit else she can do. But when you look at mom by default being the first teacher, if she's teaching from a space of unhealed wounds, do you understand who's really teaching your kid? Hurt is raising your child. And I know, listen, man, I know people, my homeboy, Truth. You know, I don't want to put too much of it out. His baby mom just passed. And they got grown kids. But that woman who beat cancer 4 or 5 different times before it came back and got her, put cigarettes out on his oldest kid's back because she was mad about that relationship. But that oldest kid loved that mama from the cradle to the grave. And it's that kind of mentality that keeps Uncle Chester, Auntie Molester, safe in the family. We'll deal with this in-house, not understanding that we can potentially be protecting a generational curse. Do y'all see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that has to be dealt with. If we don't deal with it, we just sequester them. That's a seed that gets to take root. Because we never sat down and said, hey, let's talk about this. What can we do for him or for her? We got to come together and piece up some money the same way we piece up for a funeral. We got to piece up for a therapist for this motherfucker.
But black folks therapy is the Bible, church.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No sitting on the couch talking to somebody about their issues.
Uh-oh. Dr. G, speak on that. I see you, Doc. I see you.
Well, as I'm listening to this, why would you stay connected to someone who abuses you? And I think part of it is, and if we expand it to just abuse, being beaten, not just sexual abuse, I think what happens is the fear of losing some attachment to whoever it is, causes some people to feel that they will come unglued. That it's like the bracelet of abuse is holding all the charms of their personality together.
Damn!
And you whip that bracelet out, even if it's a bad bracelet, you're going to fall apart. You're going to fall to the floor, and it's not something I'm putting into words, but it's not something you can put into feelings. And so you will hold on to a mom's hand with razor blades cutting into you rather than let it go. Because if you let it go, there's a fate worse than death. And I think the fate is there's something that if you lose the attachment, something inside you feels like you will come unglued, you'll shatter, and you'll never come back together again.
So this is big right here, what you're saying. And Veronica, I want you to chime in too. Are you telling me?
I'm not excusing it.
No. Especially with a family member. There could also be like a Stockholm syndrome that develops afterwards.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Veronica?
Yeah, a friend of mine, Tony Browder, who is, he's an Egyptologist. He travels to
the Browder Files, right?
And to Egypt and deals with pyramids and excavating a pyramid. But he does a lot of work here in the United States. And he did a piece on. He talked to me privately about this situation in Baltimore, where they were realizing that like 1 in 4, it was like some outrageous, like 80% of people were being molested through family members, and when so the psychologist went in and asked why is Baltimore such a haven for familial incest, and when they traced it back, they traced the history of Baltimore back to a sex farm, like a slave farm where they were breeding men to rape women and children and boys, right? And so that has gotten handed down in the DNA, in the genetic code. That's what the psychologists are saying. Understand that in those environments, one thing that is true about the black community is that we don't trust the police. So we won't report crimes against family members because we've had such a horrible experience with the police. And so I don't know. I think at some point it is, and I love our brothers, but I'm going to put it to the brothers. The first job of manhood is to protect the children of the community. That is job number one. And so I think we have to take a much more proactive and aggressive stand around abuse in our community because we have to understand how much it damages us, the soul of our community, for us to be passive about it. We can't be passive about this. This is the wholesale destruction of our community.
Wow. Go ahead, Bobby.
That's a very important point you just made about protecting the community, and it also has to I think, be linked to our own personal motivation, because a lot of times when we try to have so-called movements, it becomes too distant and it's not personal. And there has to be real sound reasons for us to do this thing a certain kind of way that's sustainable. It's got to be personal and enduring, you know. So when I see a young kid, he's not just a kid. That's somebody that's connected to me. And it's important that I protect him, because there's going to come a time in the circle of life that he's going to have to protect me, or he's going to feed off of me. Because we got a community full of predators right now because nobody took care of them. And it's crazy. It's real crazy.
You know, something I've said before, and I'll say it again, that people don't do what's important to them. They do what they care enough about. So here's again another challenge to Veronica, to everybody here. What would need to happen so that the brothers in your community would care enough to be protective and prevent this from happening and to step in? Yeah, it's important, but what would need to happen for the people who have the power to stop it, to care enough to stop it, as opposed to just be, you know, doing their thing?
If I may take off on that, Zoe,
yes,
for my rant. Urban
I was
renewal.
going to throw it to you.
Urban renewal has meant Negro removal. And so as we have chased white people all the way to the suburbs and beyond, we left what was the cornerstone of our existence. And in the absence of having a stable community, all of these things that we're discussing now have become normalized, because we did not have anywhere that we could be and go and do and be familiar with normalcy that relates to people as people and not as things and places and objects. And it's just a ball of confusion right now. And I think it's very important that we understand how important it is to have somewhere to go, that we have civility and productivity. In other words, don't move, improve.
Don't move, improve.
How do you get wealthy blacks to care enough to invest in those communities where the blacks leave at a low price, the whites come in and they make tons of money? How do you, because the wealthy white are not going to invest in that, so how do you get blacks to invest in the future of blacks?
Well, you do it by best practices. There are some people that are not exposed that have been doing this in communities all over America, and they get no exposure. So we end up following the people that talk about doing something, but they haven't built anything, and
so
they exist.
Let's do this. To answer your question, Doc, business is a construct. It's a set of rules. Most businessmen are very, very intelligent about how to execute a business plan, an idea, or a concept. I hear a lot of people who reach out to Veronica for coaching, who reach out to me for coaching as it pertains to business. And you know what? Well, you know what's asked first? Where do I start? What am I supposed to do? I got an idea, but how do I get it from idea to building to reality? Most people just don't know. Business is a construct. Smart people who pay, you know, I can't give you this information for free. You need to pay me for this information, and then I'll teach you how to build your business. It's a construct. Let's get that out the way. That's some easy shit to do. You get around the right people who know how to do business, you'll learn some shit. You get around movers and shakers. Like, if you hang with Veronica, you're going to know how to start some shit and finish some shit. I'm just telling you that right now. Like, you sign up for Veronica's coaching. Oh, we're doing a toleration blitz today for 8 hours. What? The fuck is a toleration blitz? And then she tell you, oh, all the shit you've been tolerating, I'm going to be checking in with you on the hour, at the top of the hour, to see if you've dealt with it. And then we move on to the next thing you've been. A toleration blitz? What the fuck? Okay, that is a script. That's a plan. I'm going somewhere. You can't expect black people to work together until they've gone through shit like that. Soul cleaning shit. That's why we having this show. It's a lot of black households that'll hide behind the mask of how to be successful and say, well, at least I'm successful. That shit happened to me. They'll be living with that wound, that cancer, that trauma. But then they'll go, at least I got this car. At least I got this house. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's easy to build a business. It's about execution. It's about follow through. It's about infrastructure. What are we doing? Organization. You do this, I do that, we manage this. It's about management. We can run a business. Black people have shown that they can make money in America. They've shown that. Here's the problem. We don't do enough of this soul healing shit. When's the last time you seen a show on that dealt with your nasty ass uncle? What about your daddy who is suspected of having sex with your sister from the same mama but from a different daddy? Until we have the real conversation and come out from behind the mask, the principle that Krishnamurti laid down when he talked about what a real educator is. He said an educator is someone who has fought with and won against his own inner demons. He cannot stand in front of a classroom and teach kids without reconciling his own inner demons. Because if he does, the inner demons are now teaching the children, and it ain't just arithmetic. So as a people, well, we sitting around acting like ain't shit wrong. We sitting around ready to blame everybody else for what is wrong. But until we go inside and own the demon, we gonna be broken up. Do you understand what I'm saying, VC?
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying, and I think that what we have to do is we have to put clarity goggles on. In other words, I think that there's this real inertia in our community, and understand that there's a you were talking about NAMBLA and all that. There's a movement afoot that seeks to normalize and seeks to have pedophilia be determined, classified as a sexual preference. Well, let's let that sink in for a minute. To have it classified as a sexual preference.
A preference.
To normalize it.
Woo.
And so we got to understand the people that are constructing this shit are on the move. So we kind of better be on the move about it. And so it almost goes back to, I don't think it takes investment necessarily financially in communities. I think it takes an awareness in communities that some shit is non-negotiable. You will not negotiate with these sort of internal family terrorists. That it's a culture shift that I think has to happen. It used to be back in the day, right, that people were more vigilant about protecting the things and the people in their community. And I think because we've become so disconnected, we don't see that as valuable. I think it's a mindset change and a culture change and a willingness to be vigilant, and a willingness to call it out when you see it, and a willingness to prosecute it. And I think we've lost the will, sort of the willpower to do that. And we've got to get that back, because it's so destructive to the psyche and the soul of our community.
Bobby?
You know, just as hard it is to have this discussion, it's also very difficult to look at some of the options that are available to us in terms of reconciling the madness. Many years ago, if you heard whispers of some, this kind of mess.
Yeah.
If it got loud enough, somebody got beat down. Or killed.
Somebody got seen. There was a council outside the door. Like,
there was a element.
We need to holler at you, Uncle Tommy.
Yeah. Right now, and it's gonna be some furniture moving around here in a minute, because this is not acceptable. All right, and it's always been in the dark, in the corner. But over the last 25, 30 years, this done turned into normalcy. There's an expectation to hear these kind of crazy stories that somebody just took advantage of people with impunity. And I think we have to look at what are some of the options on the table as to how we deal with the fact that some way there has to be a threat that if you are perverted like that, then you might lose your life for this. And you deserve to, because you don't have a right to do somebody like that, man. You just don't, man.
Jesus.
I can't accept that, man.
Jesus. Families who are dealing with this, I'm just asking you. You can't be a family through compartmentalization. You can't put him or her in a box and sweep it away. And for most of us, or for a lot of us, the way to deal with it is just to keep the kids away. No, it has to be more than just keeping the kids away. There has to be a confrontation. If we're going to do a family intervention for a drug addict, we got to do a family intervention for a sex predator in the family. A lot of times it's embarrassing. We don't want to talk about it. We just say, okay, the coping mechanism, we'll just keep the babies away and we'll do this.
Damage control.
Damage control.
You know, one of the reasons people don't confront people like this is that it's not you're afraid of hurting them or getting them angry. What it is you're afraid that they will have a response that will trigger in you such outrage that you will want to kill them. And that goes against your own inner identity. So what part of the fear of confrontation is not their reaction, but they will do something that will provoke the rage that's in you to do something that can't be taken back. And so a lot of times we stay away from people that the killer part of us who has sort of a mind of its own, and if it has a righteous mind that wants to swat this kind of thing, it'll come out. So that's one of the reasons people avoid a lot of confrontation, is that the other person will say something that will provoke that person in you, and then when you wake up, there's going to be a body count.
Wow.
But you know, it might need to be a body count because, you know.
Bobby's comfortable with that. You know, if you're going to count things, you may as well count bodies.
We get too far removed from the fact that we're part of the animal kingdom. And the animal kingdom has a way of righting itself.
Handling things.
Repercussions.
Righting itself. This kind of stuff doesn't get out of hand because then there's chaos. And in the middle of chaos is madness, man. Right. And the jungle somehow works it out. The jungle does.
So let me just do this really quick before we go back to break. Steve Franz, 17 minutes ago, $25. I don't know. M. Sewell, M. Sewell, 234, 21 minutes ago, $100. We're at $4,800. We're only $200 away from 5K. Can we get to 5K? 5K would be 5% of what we're trying to get. Listen, this is not a game. We only got 4 weeks left of this campaign, and I want to hit the mark. I want to make it happen so we can put out this next book, The Holographic Relationship.
What is happen?
Let me. Can I get deep for a second? What is a hologram? The word hologram, hollow. This is all Greek. Hollow means whole. Gram, whole writing. Okay, a whole writing. All you people out there on that logic shit, that's linear. That's a straight line. When you look at a hologram, it's just like looking at a diamond. It's multifaceted. When you set up an apparatus, say like this bottle, and you have your mirrors and your lasers, and it hits the backside of this, right? A hologram will capture the whole writing, the whole image will be on here. Now, let me tell you something that's really unique about a hologram. When you get holographic film, the paper, if you look at it with the naked eye, you'll see a bunch of ripples, just like ripples in water in a pond. You see a bunch of ripples. When you flash a light on it, you'll see a whole image, one single whole image. But this is what's unique about holographic film. If you cut that film into 1 billion pieces, each one of those pieces has the entire image of the hologram. Meaning the image is non-local. Now, what makes you think your pain can be compartmentalized? Pain is non-local. It's non-generational. You can't heal your family until your family confronts the darkness. You can't have great relationships until, as a family, you confront the darkness. Ask yourself a question. What these children learn when they're raised in your hurtful environment? They learn hurt as a means to relate. Do you understand that? I'll be back in a second. ZoWhat Morning Show. You better get there and donate to this book. It's coming.
Only the chosen can stand up against these demons. And we are much more than a legion. We are much more than a fruit that was born of a season. We are much more than the God that your master made you fall on your knees.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Hey, my fellow thoughters out there. I'm Charles Shaughnessy. Check out my new show, Here's a Thought, with Charles Shaughnessy, August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. Now, you know I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. So tune in, grab your phones, call me, tweet me, email me in the studio, and let's get this conversation going. Here's a Thought, starting August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T Radio V. That's radio in TV.
Hi, I'm Plastic Martyr, and I've got a new show called Just Like You on T Radio V. It's an inside look into my Hollywood life where I give you a sneak peek into a world of beauty, fashion, and fame. Illusions will be shattered. And of course, there's a little sex, hugs, and rock and roll. Be sure to check it out Wednesdays at 11, only on T Radio V.
I'm Laura Samoza.
I'm Sterling Gardner.
And we are Between the Sheets every Monday here, 3 p.m., TRadioV.com.
T Radio V.
That's right, it's T Radio V, radio in TV. What is that face?
She wants to see our hands.
That's radio in TV. Wah, 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 wah.
We're not a couple.
You are watching T Radio V, radio in TV.
Today's show was much needed. I am flawed. I can be a mean, hurtful, petty, stupid little nigga. I'm flawed. I had to be reintroduced to my mother when I was 5 years old. And I didn't know she was my mother because it was my foster mom who was introducing me to my mother, my biological mom. I haven't seen my father since 1978. I have been a victim and a victimizer in my relationships. I have been a liar. I have been a lot of fucked up shit. So I do not come to you from on high when I do these shows. But I do know that relationship has been my vessel for internal growth. God, the universe, whatever you call it, is insufficient for what it is, has put something in me to look at me when I'm at my lowest state, and has called me to constantly take responsibility for where I am currently. I do these shows because I know that's the only way I grow. Krishnamurti said it best. The enemy is you. And until you own what is yours to own, until you claim ownership over what is yours to own, you're not going to change the world. Every negative situation you ever encounter, you ever experience, can be turned around or flipped into a positive situation. Let me tell you something. I was watching a show last night that was very, very profound. Veronica talks about this often. The mind is incapable of knowing falsehood from reality. It's incapable. Let me tell you what generational curses can do. Generational curses can turn into master opuses, masterpieces, master war and peace novels in your mind, justifying being a victim. Being a victim is never a position of power, right? But let me tell you, scientists were showing how the mind doesn't know reality, right, from falsehood. There's a man sitting there knowing he's about to do this experiment. Said, all right, here's a partition. I want you to put your left hand on the right side of this partition. On the other side of the partition is a plastic hand. Now, there's a partition here, but you know what I'm doing because I'm telling you what I'm doing. The man pulls out 2 paintbrushes, and he uses the brush and he starts brushing the man's hand. And the mind automatically rewires the experience to where the fake hand feels exactly what the right hand is feeling. The fake hand, he's picking up sensation from this fake hand over here. His right hand is over here, but the fake hand is right there, and it's feeling it. Let me tell you what an undealt with wound can do. It can create anxiety. Anxiety is a form of fear that isn't real, based off of something that wasn't dealt with. You think by putting whoever the molester is, whoever the abuser is, in a box is dealing with him, but that ain't dealing with him. Every time I stroke your hand, even the fake hand is going to pick up sensation that is real, because the brain can't differentiate between the two. We've got work to do as a family, as a people, to heal our community. We can't do good business with each other. We can't trust each other until we reconcile old hurts. Sister, you got to learn how to forgive me for not coming to your defense when Massa was raping you. Brother, you got to forgive her for marginalizing your place in the modern day American system because she's been elevated. She's willing to play by the rules. You're not. You got to forgive her for that because you don't have a system for her to use. You don't have something in place for her to use. So you got to forgive her for looking down on you sometimes. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Mothers, don't have a kid because you think the relationship is the end-all be-all. Have a kid that was conceived in love, not in want. Let's just hear the difference. In love, not in desire. If I had a baby, he gonna stay. Don't do that, because that puts you in a bad position to parent emotionally, spiritually. Brothers, don't have unprotected sex with a woman you don't want to have a child with, and then turn around and blame her for keeping it. Men are responsible, not blamers. If you find yourself blaming, you're feminine, brother. Masculinity is claiming, not blaming. Claim ownership for the mess you create. That's when you can call yourself a man. Fathers, you teach daughters boundaries. You teach sons ownership. Mother, you teach sons empathy and respect for all that has life, including women. Listen, I had to learn this late in life. I ain't always respected women. I had to learn this late in life. My mother had a mental breakdown 3 months after I was born. I did not see her again until I was 5 or 6. I had to reacclimate myself to who she was. And when she came back, she wasn't whole. She wasn't whole for the rest of her life. She was on medications for the rest of her life. But I do honor her. Her birthday was April 14th. She's been gone since 2009. I honor her because she got 6 kids out of the projects. I honor her Because at the end of the day, she didn't give me all that I needed, but she stayed in that closet at home on her knees praying. And none of her kids went to jail or were on drugs, although I should have many times. But I'm just saying, if we don't heal, we can't be whole. Listen, that's my final thought. This is a very personal topic for me because I love my people. Bobby told you the truth. It costs us to come here. I love my people. I want us to be better. I want us to change. And if we don't change, it ain't nobody else's fault but ours. We got enough information out here. We got enough platforms. Now's the time to fucking do it or die. With that said, let me give you a quick update. Yeah, we're still at $4,800. We've got 13 minutes left in the show, or actually 3 minutes left in the show, because we got to sign off in a second. But I just want to say, go to my Indiegogo page, Zoe Williams' new book, The Holographic Relationship, and get us over 5,000 today. Please do that for us. I'd appreciate it. And on another note, don't sleep on the relationship dismount. Because you know why I say that? I'm writing the new generation's relationship handbooks. We need spiritual relationship knowledge. Not just, I say this in the new book. I say this in the new book. Most relationship experts are not relationship experts. They're sociologists. They're teaching you game rules, social game rules. That's what they teach. Well, at a certain age, you should have a good paying job and you should be ready for marriage. And then a couple of years after that, you should have a child. It's all about integrating into the matrix. These are sociologists. People don't know how to relate. Relation is communion. Communion is the recognition of union. People don't understand that. Spiritual relationship books is what I'm trying to produce here. I need your help to do that. Brandon, where can they find you, brother?
BeEasy0920 on Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, sir. Dr. Mark Goulston. Yes.
At Mark Goulston, MarkGoulston, or find my books and all my stuff at Amazon. Just look up Mark Goulston Amazon. You'll find me loitering around there.
Yes. Bobby G.
At Glanton Smith on Twitter and Facebook. If you're in the greater Los Angeles area next Sunday night at Maverick Flats on Crenshaw Boulevard, some rock and roll Hall of Famers are going to give the people what they want. Holler at me for more information about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue to support. Please continue to buy. I need you guys to continue to buy my books. Buy this brother's book, NCAA Slave. Your scholarship is a contract. You are an employee of an institution. Scholarships are a one-year renewable contract. You are protected by antitrust laws. The team needs to unionize. Wow. This brother right here, Terry Bates. Don't forget, I am Zoe Williams right now making a post office run today. If you want to get a copy out today, go there now, purchase my book. Listen, I appreciate everybody for chiming in. Veronica Conway.
Yes, you can hit me up at veronicaconway.com or blackmastery.com.
There it is right now. I appreciate you guys. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in. This show will be up on YouTube momentarily. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. We got a crazy show next week. Oh, my God. I can't tell you who's coming, but they're going to be in studio. I'll be back. Holla!
You are watching T Radio V, Radio and TV.